All right, if I were moving to Charlotte, North Carolina in 2026, I'd do it completely different. In fact, I probably wouldn't even start with the places that everyone tells you to start with, because I talk to a lot of relocation buyers every single week. But what people think they are buying is not always what daily life actually feels like once you actually live here. And that's a really important distinction, because a lot of people move here thinking that they're buying into some general idea of Charlotte. They think that they're buying lower taxes, more house, better weather, and lake life. And sometimes it's true, yeah. But what they don't always realize is that your daily life here is going to come down to a whole lot more than just the name on your mailing address. All right, it's going to come down to the roads that you drive every day, the grocery store that you use every week, how far you are from things that you actually care about, and whether your version of a good life is walkability, convenience, some space, or just not sitting in your car all the time. So in this video, I'm going to show you where I'd move to if I was doing this all over again. And my initial thought is Mooresville, not because it's perfect, because it's definitely not perfect, but because for a lot of people that are relocating here, it checks the most boxes for the money. And that definitely matters too, right? Now, when people relocate, especially from out of state, most of them are trying to balance a whole bunch of things at the same time. They want lifestyle, they want a good house, they want convenience, they want access to Charlotte, they want a good day-to-day living, and they want to feel like they did not overspend just to be in the right zip code. And in my opinion, Mooresville is going to be one of the strongest balance plays anywhere around Charlotte and Lake Norman right now. Now, one reason this matters even more in 2026 is because Charlotte's growing. Lake Norman's growing, Mooresville's growing, and in 2026, the biggest difference isn't just pricing. It's traffic, it's infrastructure, it's where growth has already happened, and it's where growth is still catching up at the same time. Now, if you pick the wrong side of town or even the wrong road to live off of, you can absolutely love the house that you chose and still hate the day-to-day that you have. And I really mean that, right? You can have the perfect kitchen, the extra bedroom that you wanted, the bonus room, that backyard with those beautiful trees that we have around Lake Norman, the nice neighborhood entrance, all of it, and still sit there 6 months later thinking, why does every single errand that I have feel harder than I expected, right? Now that's what people miss when they relocate. They focus on the house, but they don't always understand the map. Now, real quick, my name is Austin. I'm a local real estate broker here, and I make videos about what it's like to really live in Charlotte and the Lake Norman area. And this isn't gonna be the sugar-coated version. This is gonna be the version that actually helps you make a smarter move. So here's what we're doing. First, I'm gonna explain why Mooresville is the place that I'd personally start with if I was moving to Charlotte in 2026. And then I'm going to show you the one road that is going to absolutely make or break your life here. And lastly, I'm going to also show you the cheat code road that a lot of people miss or don't realize matters until they actually move. Because around here, the area that you decide to live in might come down to the road that needs to get you from A to B. All right, and that is going to matter a lot, like a lot. And what I mean by that is this: you're not just buying a town, you're buying the way that town is going to function for your life. Now, Mooresville is going to be one of the best balance plays in the entire Lake Norman area. You've got lake access, you've got convenience, you've got shopping, dining, and entertainment, and you're still within pretty close reach of Charlotte. That's why so many people keep coming back to it, because compared to places like Cornelius or Davidson, you can often stretch your budget here further and still be part of that Lake Norman lifestyle. And that matters for a lot of relocation buyers, because maybe you do like Davidson, maybe you love Cornelius, maybe you like the idea of those places, but then you actually start looking at what your money is going to buy you, and all of a sudden, Mooresville starts looking a lot more realistic, all right? And Mooresville has variety, which is one of the biggest reasons why I like it for relocation buyers. You've got downtown homes and older neighborhoods. You've got new construction pockets coming up pretty much all around the city, all right? You've got townhomes, you've got neighborhoods with amenities, you've got luxury homes, and you have a ton of lakefront homes on the west side of I-77. And on top of that, you've got more traditional suburban living in other parts of town. And that range matters because not everyone relocating here has the same budget, and not everyone has the same lifestyle. Now, here's what most people don't understand until they actually live here. Now, Mooresville is basically split by I-77, and it feels different depending on what side of the highway you plan to live on. And honestly, even saying east side and west side is only part of the story, because beyond that, the roads that you live off of matter more than the town itself. And that's gonna bring us to the villain road, in my opinion, in Mooresville. All right, if you've lived here long enough, if you've been to Mooresville, You've definitely heard this name or you're gonna learn it real quick. All right, River Highway, Highway 150, they're gonna be the same thing. But let me just be clear here. Highway 150 is important, it's useful. A lot of people are on it because it connects you to a whole lot of everyday life. And that's also part of the issue. This is where a ton of shopping, restaurants, and daily errands are packed together, so that traffic is gonna build up fast. Now, the good news is that Highway 150 is actively under construction right now to expand the road, going from 4 lanes all the way up to 6 lanes. And for most of us that live in the area, that's a very good thing long term. But until that project is fully done, which might not be until 2030 because they are expanding that bridge across Lake Norman as well, it can still take a long time, and that road is going to completely change what living in Mooresville feels like day to day. And if you're relocating here, that's the kind of thing that you want to understand before you buy and not after. Now, let me tell you that road that I personally like if what you're looking for is convenience without living in the chaos. All right, that road in Mooresville is called Brawley School Road. And this is where understanding the map really starts to pay off. Now, here's why I like Brawley. All right, now Brawley runs right through a key part of Mooresville life without making you rely on Highway 150 for everything. On the east side of I-77, you have Costco right there, and for a lot of people, that's not some tiny detail. That matters, and especially if you're moving from a place where Costco is already part of your routine, right? It certainly was a part of mine. And this is exactly why, if you are relocating here, it really helps to talk through this stuff before you pick a house. Because on a map, everything looks close, and that can be the trap. Everything's like, oh, hey, that's only a few miles away. That looks easy. And then you start to understand which roads actually move and which ones don't, and it changes everything. Now, 2 homes that look equally good on paper can produce completely different results or day-to-day lifestyles, just depending on where you decide to live. So if you are moving to the Charlotte or Lake Norman area and you want to talk through this, give me a call, shoot me a text, or send me an email. I am a licensed real estate broker here, and I have these conversations with folks like you every single day. And if you are still in that research phase or you're just trying to narrow things down before reaching out, I've got a Charlotte and Lake Norman relocation guide that breaks all of that down in even more detail. And you can also download that by scanning the QR code that you see on the screen or just reaching out to me directly. Now, this is why I say Mooresville is one of the best places to start with if you are moving to Charlotte in 2026. It gives you the Lake Norman lifestyle without forcing you into the highest price points closer to Charlotte. It has real convenience, and it has enough variety where a lot of different types of buyers can make it work. And if you choose your location smartly, you can avoid a lot of the daily friction that does frustrate a lot of people. All right, and that's really the whole point. Mooresville isn't about perfection, it's about options. It's about balance. It's about being able to get a lot of what you want without having to go all the way to the highest price points to get it. Now, Mooresville is a great fit if you want like access plus Charlotte proximity, if you want variety in housing and price points, if you want shopping and dining without needing to drive into Charlotte for every single thing. And if you work remote and you want a town to feel livable, not just like a place where you go to sleep. Now, who is Mooresville probably not for? Well, first off, if you truly can't stand traffic and you don't want to deal with I-77 at all, I get that, I honestly do, because even if you choose your area wisely, you're still living in a growing town and in a growing region, and traffic is always going to be part of that story here. Now, if you want walkable charm, sidewalks, local shops, and more of that small town feel, now while you can find that in parts of Mooresville, especially in that downtown area, Davidson might actually fit you better. Now, Davidson has a totally different personality. And if that's your lifestyle, then that premium may be worth it to you. If you want more space, more quiet, and better value, you might want to start looking at Troutman or Statesville. All right, that's where a lot of buyers miss opportunities. So if I were moving to Charlotte in 2026, Mooresville is where I'd start. Not because it's perfect, but because it is the best balanced play in the entire Lake Norman area. And in my next video, I'm gonna show you all a town that I think you might be sleeping on and why it might actually be the smarter move depending on what you value. Now, if you are relocating to Charlotte or anywhere around the Lake Norman area, this is exactly the kind of stuff that we help people sort through every single week. We hop on a Zoom call, pull up the map, talk through commute patterns, budget, schools, lifestyle, and even specific roads like Highway 150 versus Brawley School Road. And we narrow it down before you ever book a flight or start touring homes, because picking the wrong area is going to be way more expensive than picking the wrong house. So If you are curious about making that move, call, text, or email me directly. I'm going to be the one that answers every phone call, every text message, and every email. That information is popping up below. And again, if you are still in that research phase, you can download that Charlotte and Lake Norman area relocation guide. It'll help you compare towns side by side and start thinking through what actually fits your life before you commit to anything. All right, you can scan that QR code on the screen as well. Now, I hope y'all got some value out of this video. If you did, please consider liking and subscribing, as I do make 2 videos twice a week, every week, on what it's like to move to or live in Charlotte and the Lake Norman area of North Carolina. All right, that's all. We'll see you in the next one.